DJ Shablast, Kindle Blue Music, thank you both for tuning in. Produced by Sin Pi, thank you for tuning in. Producer Gang, Jeremiah Gloria, Kid Complete, The Attic Studio NYC, thank you for tuning in. We're gonna go over today in the next few minutes Loot Audio sample library, or actually a company that sell sample libraries, and they also sell third-party sample libraries. They have their own. I made this beat using a lot of their sounds. Before we get into that, if you go to dafingaz.com/gear guide, I'm giving away a free budget home studio gear guide. Dafingaz.com/gear guide. If you can see that there, you can check out my free home studio gear guide, where I'm talking about just a handful of inexpensive, usually under $300 things you can get, such as audio interfaces, headphones, microphones, keyboards. So definitely check that out. dafingaz.com/gear guide. So today, Shahina F Random, thank you for tuning in. I want to go over this beat I've made. I'm not going to go over the drums and the bass. I'm really just going to focus on the Loot Audio plugins, because that is what the focus of this video will be. For those that don't know, if you go to Loot Audio, let me make sure I have the right website, lootaudio.com. You can definitely check out some of their stuff here. They're actually selling Sound Iron's Hyperion elements, or Hyperion brass elements. They have electric organ. They have different libraries for sale. The ones that I have, most of those I've actually won, and also won in contests. If you know that I also I'm all about contests. Last year was a big year for me for contests, music remix contests, sampling contests. I actually have a whole course on contests. That's a whole other thing. But a lot of the Loot Audio libraries I have are from that. And also, full disclosure, on this video, they are actually offering an incentive for those that post videos using Loot Audio, so you can win either some gear or some money towards gear, or some Loot Audio bucks, or whatever they call it. So with all that out of the way, let's get right into this beat. It's the libraries I have from them are mainly Ben Osterhouse. I have 3 of his pattern strings, Secco strings, Secco, Sospiro strings, and then I have Caleidoscope also, which I believe they were giving away for free a couple years ago. I don't think it's free anymore, but definitely a great library. I'm going to show you how I put these sounds together, starting with the pattern strings from Ben Osterhouse. Pattern strings is basically orchestral sounds where you can create patterns using different strings. Do beats, thank you for tuning in. If you know a little bit about music theory, you can choose different patterns for your strings to play. So this is what I came up with. This is what the interface looks like. You can basically drag and drop these different patterns in. You can have 8th notes, 16th notes, dotted eighths, dotted quarters, whatever the case, half notes, whole notes, and then triplets and rests and things. And you can have 2 patterns layered together. I only used 1 pattern, and this is the idea I came up with for this first one, using all of the strings here, using the bass, the cello, viola, and violin. So that is the first string sound I came up with, and then I added a solo on top of that, and the solo is actually a viola and violin layered together, and I have a different pattern playing a lot of the triplets at the beginning, and then slowing down a little bit towards the end, and this is what that pattern is doing. If I can find where it comes in, right about here. So I'm gonna play both of those together. Art Media Reduction, thank you for tuning in. So I have those two going on, and then I added some effects on the second half of the beat. This is more, Virginia producer, VA producer stand up. So this is like, being inspired by Timbaland, Danger Hands, Knots, Bink, all the VA producer greats, Neptunes, Pharrell. So this is a sound that sort of put me in that sort of realm. And when you hear the drums, when I play it back at the end, you'll see how that all comes together. R. Ducker Renee, thank you for tuning in. So this sound is actually it's from the Secco strings from Loot Audio, Secco, Secco strings, where you can basically put different patterns together in this library. Roll Mill 7, thank you for tuning in. And this is what I have that going on. I found this like effect with the violin sound, and this is what that sounds like. With the other strings. That's what we got going on so far. And then on top of that, I have a lot more Loop Audio sounds. The next one is Sospiro or Sospiro strings. Sospiro, I might be saying it wrong. I used cello to bring some sort of low end there's a breakdown part where the first part goes away, and this is sort of like the second part of the beat. And this is what that is doing. They're playing basically chords in this cello part. So that is all of the strings, all of the orchestral stuff that I have in the beat. The next 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 tracks are from the other plugin called Caleidoscope. So the first few were from Pattern Strings, Secco Strings, and Sospiro Strings from Ben Osterhouse from Loot Audio. These next few are from Kaleidoscope. And this one is probably my favorite one in the beat. This one is called Vocal Sung Phrases. If you know me, you know I'm all about vocals and choir sounds and vocal, whatever you want to call them, vocal sounds and elements. So this one is just a sound that was in there. It's called Vocal Sung Phrase. This is what the Kaleidoscope plugin looks like from Loot Audio. I'm using Vocal Sung Phrase 1 and just holding down a note came up with these ideas. I think I'm playing 2 notes. So this is the first one. That's the second note, so I'm going to play that along with the cello on top of that, and this is what that sounds like. So it starts really to come together there, and then this third track here that I have from Kaleidoscope is Ambient Sine Choir. So it's really like a bell sound that I made it sound like, playing a little idea down the scale every 8 bars, and this is what that sounds like. So just a little idea, sort of like a transition, sort of ear candy in there. And I also have something similar, sort of like a response to that below that from this guitar wash pad, again from the Kaleidoscope from Loot Audio. It's called Guitar Wash 2 Pad, and this is what that sounds like. So again, just ear candy there. And then the last Loot Audio sound I have is playing Purifier Beats. Thank you for tuning in. The last Loot Audio sound I have from Kaleidoscope is called Dream Key to Pad. And I have that playing as a breakdown after all the fun stuff. This is like a breakdown in between coming back into it. And then it's also at the end. This is going to play 2 or 3 chords, I think, there. It comes back into it. Complex Music, thank you for tuning in. That is basically it. Again, I also have a bass coming in at the end of there. I'm not going to go over the bass, but Moog Model 15 or Moog Model 15, if you're familiar, that's also available on the iPad, and it's also available on M1 Max. So that is the bass. But Loot Audio, again, I'm using a couple of, I'm using 18 sounds here, not counting my beat tag. The first few are drums. I didn't go over the drums today because if you watch some of my past videos, you know the drum plugin I use, Pulse from the Loops. And I also use the stock cowbell groove from Logic Stock. I chopped that up a little bit to get that, Timbaland, Virginia producer vibe. And then I added some drummer tracks from Logic Stock Drummer. And then the rest is basically Lute Audio plugin strings, the Lute Audio vocal stuff, the Lute Audio guitar and pads and different things. So I'm gonna play through the beat one more time. Let me know what you think. Here we go. It's actually called Nights Like This is the title I have for it. Here we go.
The fingers on the beat.
That's the vibe for this one. Shout out to Lute Audio. They make some incredible plugins. Let me get the website back up before I get out of here. Go to luteaudio.com. Check out what they have going on. Again, luteaudio.com. Check out the libraries they have. Check out some samples, sound samples, and things like that. They have all kinds of stuff. Also, go to dafingaz.com/gear guide to get my budget home studio gear guide for free. dafingaz.com/gear guide. If you can see that right there, check that out when you get a chance. Again, thank you to Lute Audio. If you missed the video, if you're just tuning in, rewind back to the beginning, check it out, see how I made this beat using Lute Audio plugins. Be safe and be well, everyone. More videos on the way, more music on the way, you already know. All right, QRock639, I'm ending right now, but rewind it back when I post this, probably in about 10-15 minutes. I'll post it up on my page, but I gotta get this ready. I gotta grab some lunch, then I gotta get to work. All right, peace.